Yo, what's up, guys? We have William Candia fresh off of a top 8 at YCS Las Vegas. Check out the background. Will, what did you play?
I played a 60-card Yummy pile.
And how was it?
It should not have worked as well as it did. I think this deck sucks, but it works very well. So, I guess before we get into it, I want to give a big shout out to both my teammates Eddie and Mikey for playing the 3v3 with me because they got a VIP. And then I want to shout out to Henry for letting me borrow pretty much every card in this deck. Shout out to Minsu for lending me a Linkribo because not a single person seemed to own one. Shout out to Eddie for letting me borrow a couple cards, and yeah, shout out to everyone else who came out and topped as well.
Shout out Densi for the Deaders.
Okay. All right, so we'll get in the main deck. Starting with the Yummy Engine, 3 Cupsy, 3 Marshmallow, 1 Lipo, 1 Cookie. Again, you don't need more than any of this. This is like fairly enough. 1 Surprise, 1 Minion, and 1 Akoki. Akoki is super nice for when you get like food or anything like game 1. Sometimes you're on like a little half board with Yummies, or there's like occasional times where it like comes up where you want a game 1 where you just have an overwhelming amount of extenders. Otherwise, like the card was like okay going into game 1. It got decided out a lot going game 2 and 3 going second. But otherwise the card was pretty good. And then we'll get into the Bellstar engine. So I played 2 Witch, the 1 Elzette, which you obviously need for your combo, 1 Souls as the DMod target, 3 Wanted, 1 Deaders, 1 Deception. This is a little different from what I was playing. I was playing Hollowed, but we decided to cut Rusilago as we thought Linkribo was a better pick going into having more push with Yummy monsters, being able to make Linkribo. Rusilago didn't really play around much as well. It was kind of just overkill when you had it. But otherwise the card worked out well, and then the second effect to reborn it when it gets back to you was also pretty nice.
Did that come up?
It came up twice.
And did the Linkribo come up?
Linkribo came up like twice.
That's good.
So yeah, it was alright. But there was like times where it's like where at the end of your combo when you make like SP, you'll like make Linkribo, that way when your Yummy tags out, you could just have Linkribo just there cuz. Otherwise it was there if like you needed to push through after going Cupsy or anything, having 2 extra names to make Lipo. So. Radiant Siphon cards, 1 Eldom, 1 Swen, 3 Chant, 1 Visions, and then 1 MST. The Visions was probably like the best card in the deck. Being able to draw 2 and pitch 1, just digging further into your deck, helped to hit a lot of non-engine going second, and then also dig going first. Whenever your hand was already playable, you can go Special Eldom, get Swen, get Visions, and then Visions draw later in your combo. That was super nice to hit your non-engine that you side into game 1.
And you sided out the monsters going second. Is that something you'd recommend?
No. I wouldn't recommend that. But I think against specifically Draco Tail, it's fine. Otherwise, I think it was a bad decision for the few rounds we did that. Mitsurugi engine, 1 Saji, 1 Armasa. Don't need for Kusanagi. You're playing a fairly small engine. It's kind of anything just to spam out Camellia. 3 prayers, 3 pre-prep, 1 ritual, 1 mirror, and then 1 purification. This comes up a lot, especially going into game 1. This is like your only thrust target going first. Most of the time when you resolve Mitsurugi cards, your last card that you add is always this, and then if it comes to that, you can deal add this back later in your combo. But this was always just better than prayers most of the time. You always just want to beat their one thing that pushes through your board because you put up enough already.
Did you miss Futsu?
No, I didn't want to summon Futsu one time in the event. The only like reason maybe to play Futsu was when I purely opened Mitsurugi cards into like a card like Fua, then like Futsu probably would come up in that case. But otherwise, no, I never wanted to summon that card once. So yeah. And then played the Sky Striker cards. So played just 3 engage, 1 Horn Drones, 1 Anchor. Anchor was super nice. It comes up randomly when you open like 2 engage, or if you can just engage later and get Anchor. Going second, this was also nice just to be another interruption to start piecing away at boards. Nothing to say much about this. Anchor was pretty solid. And then for the non-engine, it was just 3 Ash, 1 Fua, 1 Crossout. These were kind of just anything to help beat Fua itself, or any Chummy, or I guess inadvertently hit Ash. This came up a couple times to hit just Yummy cards in the mirror going second. And then on top of that, we play Call By and Talents. Just anything to help kind of deal with hand traps game 1. Yeah. And then 3 Droplet, 3 Thrust, 1 Harpies, and then 1 Illusion Gate. Harpies came up a lot this weekend. I didn't have a problem with it. Illusion Gate was the best card. That card was amazing. A lot, especially when you can easily kind of bait interruptions through things like Widow Anchor, MST, or Droplet or Thrust. You kind of bait out negates very easily. You push through a lot already as is, especially with like your wanted engine. So having these cards like resolve becomes a lot easier. And most people don't expect it to see it game 1. So that was also something that helped.
Would you recommend something Power Patron off of Illusion Gate?
No, I would not. I would not.
Actually, why don't you want to do that?
Because it locks you into fusions, and then you can't activate your engage in your hand, and then you cry, go to game 3 in top 8, and then break horrifically. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Just wanted to point that there. Extra deck. 1 Snatchy, the 3 Synchros, standard. 1 Starham, 1 Rusilia, 1 Zalin, 1 D-Bell. I never actually resolved full combo. I lost every other dice roll, so I never summoned Zalin. And then whenever I did get to that point, my opponent already scooped, as is. Starham came up a couple times. It was kind of weird. It came up a couple times where I had already opened like engine, but then just dealt with some interruptions, and then Starham was enough to make Rusilia and just keep playing. So yeah.
So you never summoned Zolin?
Nope.
That's
Not once
crazy.
the entire tournament did I summon Zalin. And then fusions, we played D-Mod, Sylvia. Again, since we're not playing the Hollow, there's no need to play Rusialago. It was kind of just overkill at that point. 1 Kagari, 1 Camellia, and then, like I said, the 1 Link Rebo, SP, and then Zombie Vampire. This actually did come up a few times. I had a couple instances where I did take my opponent's monster and then use it to make Zombie Vampire, using that with talents. I also had a scenario where I Illusion Gate a Dracotail board and then took their Secretary on to have a Zombie Vampire play later in the turn. Otherwise, it didn't come up that much. It kind of came up when you had enough to break through and then play with Mitsurugi cards, and then just kind of high rolled off this. So it came up a couple times, and I don't think there was much that we found that we could play differently. So yeah, I'm fine with it. It came up enough times to be worth it. And then the side deck, 3 Lightning Storm, 3 Double Cyclone, 3 DDG. This was really good in theory, into Dracotail and into Yummy variants going when you go first. But I never activated the card once the entire tournament, which is unfortunate because it's a very good DDG target. I mean, a very good thrust target. And then, yeah, it essentially shuts down the entire board most of the time. So, and then play the other 2 Fua, the other 2 Illusion Gate, and then 1 Judgment, 1 Assist Yummy. Assist Yummy was very good. Whenever, like I said, if I got like food or something going into game 3 going first, then like Marshmallow was really good putting this up. The other 2 Fua could have probably been swapped out for 2 different breakers. I don't think this was that crazy. It was kind of there just because Fua alone generally slows down your opponent a lot of the time, and when you have a lot of breakers in your deck, it's a lot easier to piece away at your opponent's board whenever you have more cards in hand. So it was okay, but again, in 60 cards, it was kind of unlikely that I'd see it. I activated Fua maybe twice the entire tournament, and both times I got ashed. So, but otherwise, the deck worked out well. I'm happy that we made top 8, especially since we started X2. And then, yeah, I just wish I didn't miss one. Otherwise, that's gonna happen. So, all right. And then lastly, shout out to my team, Team Moonex. Thank you for sponsoring me. And that's a profile.